Hello and welcome to the show. The alchemists were correct. You can turn lead into gold, just as we're doing here with these tickers. An amazing period of synchronicity. I'm doing the same with you, and you are doing the same with each other. We are transforming each other's lives every single day, and today is no different. Every moment is the present moment. Everything we do right now dictates our future. We take conscious action to lead us there. Our brains are hardwired to keep us alive, reliving every experience in order to survive it better the next time. Some of this helps in trading. The rest is from the brain of a zebra or a gazelle. And while they are very pretty and we are very beautiful, I don't fancy myself as one of them. Bad news. You need reinvented. Great news. The next time I click my finger, you will be reborn as a trader. Even rationally minded people instinctively understand the interconnected nature of everything and every moment. But rarely do we have these moments so clearly presented as in this moment. You don't need to look for synchronicity. You don't need to search for meaning. Everything we do overflows with consequence for ourselves and for each other. That's the way it works around here. Hit that like button. You are the message you write to your future self. You are the medium. You are the environment. You are the process. You're the one. Our gratitude, your fortitude, our relentless steps forward inspire each other, they clear a path, and as we take those steps forward, we step into the charts and are reminded again of the infinite opportunity at every moment, at every single step, to change our entire lives if only we have the courage. SPY 419.40, up 1.96% on the day. Here's the weekly time frame, fresh. All you've got on there is 200 period moving average and a number of oscillators. Those oscillators are fantastic. And we take this Fibonacci from the low back in Ronas. We see that the drop back down so far took us below a 236, but not to a 382, nor have we tested this 200 period moving average on the weekly time frame, which would be considered a proxy for a trend test. We've not had that yet. So as exciting and as fantastic and as beautiful as this looks, how far does it go without a retest? Well, you know, could go infinitely far. We'll check with it as it happens, but there's already questions being asked. And this is the downward slope information. You're touching those highs, sure, give or take a number of dollars, but this thing's approaching that level, and the risk profile at this stage is significantly different from what it was in around these lows. These lows also do match up, looking left, with a period of support when we pushed above it previously. So it works overall, especially on the weekly time frame. If we look to the previous high from our drop down and drop that on, obviously that would be a resistance level. And if we go to this previous level, we can see we're there, pushing above it, opening. And this question mark becomes, are we going to close above it? Because we do have clear and present danger. Then we look below and we see that was a previous test. Looking back, you can see there's a 236 in between there, so price action could easily come back to these sort of levels and bounce. Should it do something like that, you'd be putting in a formation that would look like an inverted head and shoulders. Could be coming at this side of the trend. You've already done much of what might be considered that if you had a different sort of formation which also represented a breakout at these levels, which on a weekly time frame you might not necessarily see a retest of. But it does clearly define different risk parameters and how your profile will change from this level at 365, again here at 390, and then here at 313. Anything above that, you're looking at completely different targets with a different perspective, especially if you're talking about closing on weekly time frames, and then we're speaking about trends. So the exact place things go to on this particular time frame isn't the actual question we're asking ourselves, though it will be an answer we get to in a moment. So we can now adjust these horizontal levels and say that perhaps it's a zone in and around this level. Should this be the low, and at this moment we've gone back above a 236 and given validity to this Fibonacci extension, and then we can say where are the targets within it. Well, should you push above this level and this downward sloping diagonal doesn't hold you because it doesn't match up perfectly with any particular horizontal level, then we go across to the golden pocket and drop in a horizontal level here. On this particular Fibonacci, look left, you can see that does match up with a number of horizontal levels, 3 of them, and that gives us a target of around 430, and that's why people talk about 430 on SPY. A lot of people talk about other targets, but this is why 430 makes sense, even whether or not it is why they do it. Thanks very much for that fact. I'll get to this in a second. If I can ever muster the strength to get it off, I need to eat my spinach. It's XD 420, Fucking legend. Appreciate it. Thanks, XD. Yo, so golden pocket retracement, you're currently above the 50%. That would be a natural area to target. You can see horizontal, like you have correlation. So that's the weekly. If we look at these oscillators, you can see you've come in and put in a double bottom here, potentially you could call it that on RSI. You've got a cross on the MACD, and you're testing this trend with the DI positive approaching the DI minus. As the DI, you know, everything's coming in for a test here, right? So to keep it simple, everything's coming in for a test here, while as you're getting that test will be of what could be a potential move to the top side, which will be coming with a test of an important horizontal level, because you haven't yet seen that. On the RSI, pushing above the center line says you could potentially keep going. Crossing the MACD and the positive sign of histogram says that's possible. And then everything you're getting on the DMI ADX, everything looks like it also is coming in for some sort of a test, right? So these are the things we're asking. Where will that test be? Likely at a horizontal level above at around 430, but you can also speak to the test around 413, which so far today we've done at 416.72, topside 420. So looks like it was pushing in those directions at the minute. Drop down to the daily time frame. There's your 200 period moving average. It also meets these targets, right? 430. 428. This is a very strong and present area, whereas if we look back then at that 200 period moving average, we're taking it as a proxy for the trend. The weekly, you haven't yet hit it, but if you were to come back down there, you'd see that it would match up with this downward sloping previous support level. That downward sloping support level, that could just be a trend that's already in motion, and continuation would be expected. This move above would also just then be considered to be displacement, and that's how you form these broadening formations. We'll talk about the consequences of them later. It may well be, if you're looking for it to break to the top side, you'd be looking at the textbook take on things, and you're looking for a test of the basis line in around 390, and there will certainly be a lot of interest should we get there. And I think those targets we've talked about and mentioned there on SPY cover everything that everyone would possibly want to know. Moonman 499.99, putting a little into your tip jar to keep that uncanny preternatural TA flowing. Okay, it'll never stop. Thanks so much, Moonman. That's a really generous donation. 49.99. Freaking legends. Thanks, Tubes Layers. Thanks, Moonman. Yos. Eeks. Thanks. Right, so this is what we're looking at. SPY, we talked about it. Does it look then that we're getting a lot of volatility and things that are going to change their current trend? VIX down 8%. That's crushing. Down 8%. Down back to $20.04. We were talking about this potentially coming in for a 1.13 or an 886 from these previous lows. And where does everything match up again? An 886 suggests 13.14. That'd be, whoa, crazy. No thanks. This gap, we filled that, and we were talking about it coming back down doing these Fibonacci levels here. 1.13 extension from this gives us a target about 16, and then really you're looking at this previous low 1867 as offering, you know, in around those levels offering maximum opportunity. This wick low here at 1976, that presents a very strong opportunity. In this particular candle, you've opened higher, haven't got to run towards those levels, and are at 20 where you had previous trade, and then come back down before. So stopped out in profit if you'd been using that previous trade set up and looking to take it again in and around these levels. Whether or not that's your entry and this is your risk management, or this is your entry and your risk management is just beyond it, would be up to you and your own particular trading strategy. If it is that you're trading VIX as opposed to looking for puts on SPY. And so that's just why I'm talking about this in the narrative that a lot of traders might be using, you might be looking to. Anyway, there's obviously this low within the formation. You're talking about coming up to around these highs. You've got an 886 here at 1580. So this is why I speak to the potential trade on VIX when it has got to move to the top side. I suspect that it'll continue this previous upward trend, right? You'll be making moves that are somewhere in line with this, And we'll be speaking about a broadened information from this type of, you know, wherever it is that it finally anchors, you'll be talking because they'd all be valid with previous touches. You could say that would be the VIX trade, and at this stage, I think that it probably does oscillate back up and maybe even make a move higher than, you know, these previous highs within this formation and continue this bullish nature of price action at the moment. A golden pocket retracement takes you to 42 and change, and 886 of this previous high 68. You know, if you got back up to 236 and tested this side of the trend, that would be like up around 50, and you'd be speaking about significant levels in the overall economic situation on planet Earth. Okay, now if I was doing this show from Mars, we'd be talking about this and saying, whoa, Earth looks like it might be a little bit fucked. And so anywho, right, we're not though on Mars, thank God, because it's dire up there, right? Real shit. So that's what we're looking at. Now let's jump into AMC 2220, and you've got a flash back down that you know, it's proved the validity of it as an indicator. It's the greatest indicator I've ever used. It's made a bigger difference to the profitability of my account than any other addition that I've added to the charts in my entire life as a trader. And that's because Rocky and I came up with a thing because we noticed and understand price action, and the way that we understand it and the way that we use things suggested that this was a great idea. And here you go there, it's a life-changing indicator. You get it by going to Rocky Outcrops Patreon and signing up on the indicator tier, and there's an amazing Lisa, and usually in the chat box who will share these things when I'm talking about them, so you can click that link if it comes up, or somebody else might do it if she's not here. I haven't checked the chat box, and if you don't see her, she probably writes an amazing comment below with all of the chapters and links to the particular part of this video that you might find interesting, depending on the ticker or that part of the ticker that we're talking about. And you know, she's a real hero of the channel, so if you see her doing that sort of thing, definitely head down to the comments. And if you're like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to go write in a comment, but I want to help out the TradeSpotting channel and, you know, comment for the algorithm, well, a great place to do it is to say thanks, Lisa, you know, down in the comments there, you know. So that's a great option. You know, you can also mention the hashtag the tickers that you want me to look at next, or what you've seen in the video there. That would help me too. Golden pocket retracement, 200 period moving average, Rocky Outcrops flash, weekly time frame coming back down. That would suggest that this downward sloping resistance hasn't yet been broken. Everybody getting enthusiastic as the move finishes. How very typical, right? You don't buy at the top, you fanny. You buy it when it's low and you sell it when it's high. Oh my goodness, you just didn't realize that? You're so stupid. Anyway, you've got a number of Fibonacci's to look to. If these don't hold, this thing's screwed, come down at 7.77, and TradeSpotting happens to think that's what's happening with AMC. You know, I do happen to think that, you know, 1.13 extension, I happen to think that, and have done so for a while. I think that flash in that golden pocket and that leads you on to get in a 7.7, you know, in a golden pocket. I think that's what happens, right? You know, and I'm not, you know, long-term bearish on it, and I wish it had happened earlier, seeing as this breakdown and the way it's going. What does that mean for the implications then on GME? Well, I don't know, and, you know, if it does bounce here and go up, that's fantastic, you know, but like that would be the way I'd be thinking about it from a trader. I'd have that quite a strong opinion. I'd hold it weekly, and if we bounce to upside, great, because I've got loads of it and I'm selling it, and that's the way it goes with this sort of thing. So great, and we were on the weekly. Let's drop down to the daily and see what it's done today. Shock killer, right? TradeSpotting shattering dreams here. Right, well, you know, get over it. 20.73, 23.80, you know, right? I'll turn you into stone, and then it'll crack you open in the middle. It'll be the most expensive, beautiful jewel on the planet. You know, it'll be you. So there's a 200 period moving average on the daily time frame. If you hold that, well, I'll have egg on my face, won't I? No, I thought it was the GME, so I'll be on AMC, so I'll be dead happy. And if they both go up, they probably will do it in unison. Though what I meant to say there was, I've got AMC, so I'll be happy if it goes up, which I would be, right? But I also wouldn't be upset if it goes down. So that's the way it is, right? And 200 period moving average, you know, if you don't hold that on the daily, I suggest that looks like a rejection. So far, it could potentially be a bull flag, and the extension from it would take you back towards this golden pocket retracement and suggest topside target's $35. So if you were here, we're talking about that all last week, then it's still true. That is the next topside target. You look left, it's the next horizontal level of resistance. It's the prior high from within the previous formation. It's where you'd look to if you were talking about a fake out. So even before you get like out of this formation, you know, you can get excited, but until such times as it breaks above here, you're talking about higher levels that would be, you know, not probably conducive to understanding our expectations with regards to future price action. We'll just take it from there, Sam, right? We'll just take it from there, eh? So that's what we're talking about the AMC, that level, and in advance of it, you know, you've got others. We talked about them, and then it went to, they were like 24, like upper 27. It did that, it came back down again, didn't hold 24, but then it puts in the potential bull flag. 200 period moving average suggests it could break out again. It's just at this stage, you need to hold the bullish control zone. We'll just drop down and see, you know, the strength of trend is potentially changing, but with the ADX going in that direction, you can't necessarily make that determination yet. 4 hour, now you really do have the question, you know, are there going to be, you know, a kiss between these two? And looking at this 200 period moving average approaching a 236, that being confluent with a 50% retracement, and, you know, Dow and his lover Jones, how much they loved this, right? That's how they met, you know, over one of these and they fell in love together over 50% retracement. And it broke all sort of social ties at the time, of vulnerable restrictions on culture. It was, wow, incredible, right? Breakthrough moment for LGBT relations. Dow Jones in that moment, whether they met each other anyway. So if price actually comes down and meets that, I don't think it would be equally shocking. But $16 on AMC approaching that golden pocket, 1447, 886 it down, 1116. You don't anticipate it breaking down that whole way immediately. I definitely think that if it came to these levels, it would bounce. And that's a 4 hour. Yo, thanks very much. No effects message coming through. Then down to the 1 hour time frame, we can see this then. It looks like a bit of a nasty bull flag. Hello, wheel. I can see you're trying to do it. Guitar, $20 when it fits the flow. AMRS, please, $4 target. Looking unreasonable. Awesome. We'll have a look at that. I'll keep that in this pile I need to look at. And if you want me to look at anything, get to the fixes in quickly, and I'll get to them all at the same moment. So this is a 4 hour time frame, and that's the wheel, which won't shut up. Shut up, wheel. Over here, super chat button. You know, guitar has a lot of courtesy not demonstrated by the wheel, which itself has its own personality, which is very rude and impolite. So back into that flow that we're talking about, and this holding a 236 should do so. You know, this is the idea of a bull flag. You've filled the gap already. You've come down to the targets that we talked about. This is where it could bounce up again, and you'd be hoping this thing broke up. You'd be testing it like from here, right, from these prices, right? You would hoping it would move from here up, and that it would then move to rather sharpish 27 again, that previous target, and the wick high within the move 28 really. And then you would want it to, like, because of the nature of this asset, you wanted it to continue that volatile characteristic and push higher again and go to the golden pocket and that $35 target. You'd want it to do it from here. It definitely fits with the formation and the bull flag, which comes with a measured move. You can either do the half staff or full staff, whatever suits you, right? Let's just do the longer one, because why not, right? You know, and at that state, you're like, it's not steep enough to be a flag. And if it is, it's definitely falling over, and it's definitely far too big anyway. Well, it doesn't work, right? So that's not what we're going to use. We're going to use this thing. All right, buddy. You know, at this stage, you're like, it's quite extended. So if it doesn't work, you'll find out about it on it breaks below that 236. I wouldn't even wait for it to break the prior low within the formation, which is what you would typically think. I'd think you'd get an early warning signal and you'd be aiming for these levels. Oof, nasty. Anyway, if this does break up and you do it from in and around now, it takes you right to that target, right? You see how all that matches up? That's beautiful. 1 hour time frame. Let's drop down at 15 minutes. Are you going to see it right now? Well, there's your flash down at 13.99. You've managed to bounce back out of the bearish control zone. You've got bullish divergence at that point. You know, I think that's pretty decent. If you look at between these two lows, then you're talking about this looking at a continuation for sure. If you talk about these two most recent lows, that talk about reversal divergence, which would be relevant to this part of the trend. It would be downward sloping. Therefore, you give it that reversal divergence and say that it likely does move back up again. Resistance at the first period, and it's going there now, folks. It's 23.81. It's going there now, right? Top side of 22 at the very least. And then 23 tops out of that. It's going there right now. And then, I know it isn't moving yet, but it's trade spotting, you know, so you give it a second and then it'll hear it and then it'll do it, right? And then up here, you'll see it push towards 27, and I don't know if it's going to actually go any further than that, but that's what it wants to do, you know. 1 minute time frame, are you up for it? Then, you know, have you heard it yet? I'm a stupid idiot. I'm repeating myself. Yeah, there's a harmonic. That's the perfect place to do it, mate. Boom. Anyway, so that's that. It's going to do it right now, so we'll do this. Boom. Anyway, technical analysis doesn't work, so we'll expect that to completely look silly and me to be completely daft, won't we, right? Because technical analysis doesn't work. Hey, here's, and like, this is the future I'm speaking to, right? So, you know, whatever, let's see how technical analysis works, right? And it's not even for predicting the future. So this is GME, we're looking at the 1 minute time frame. But that's not, if I'm going to get to like understanding anything, I don't particularly want to start from here. You could tell about this as being also like there's, if this is turned around, that is great. If not, that's bad. And in which case that will mean this falls down. I mean, it's going to make a decision right now. Whether that does come back down or not is a completely different story. But it's going to make a decision right now. I think that's going up. And this thing, it doesn't look quite as positive on those 1 minutes, but like I didn't come from a bullish thesis to get here, so we'll actually just do that now. And there's always time for the TA. There's an important lesson. So as we've arrived here on the daily time frame, which is high enough to go to find something interesting, is that you've come back down and tested the breakout zone so far. That's good enough. You've closed a gap. That's good to see. Having made it back down to here, you've also the 236. So the first sort of bounce area you'd expect from a Fibonacci sequence, and even though that did look shit on the tiny time frames, it's also going to bounce and go up from here. That's GME at 39.17, down 2.97%. On the 4-hour time frame, you've got your 200 period moving average approaching this 236 here. That's a previous move back down again. That's good to see. That'll probably be for some sort of a bounce area if you do break back within this formation. Okay. 886 at 37.81. I wouldn't want to see you break below that. That'd be an early sign. Plus, you'd be back within what is at the trade spotting line, so it's significant. The golden pocket there at $40. That's like your immediate target. Should you move up right now, I suppose. This is way above the center line. I know you've come out of the bullish control zone, but there's no divergence previously. And then the histogram, what does it look like? It looks like it wants some more. Please, sir, can I have some more? And it's like, well, yeah. I mean, it's a shop of more, and you can have as much as you like. And then down here, we've got the ADX, which says like, yeah, it's just like, I'm cool. What's up? Right, I'll just go with what's cool, yo. It's not actually a trendsetter at this moment. It's just telling you like what's up because you turn up in a new shirt is cool, and then the next day the ADX is wearing it, and then you're like, sound. It's that sort of thing. That's that sort of thing. You know that feeling. That's ADX. Also follows you around at lunch and that, and it's cool. That's nice. So So we're sticking to the TA here. That's the GME, and we were on the 4-hour time frame, and we're talking about It's good for cats. It's cool for cats. Right, so you're out of the bullish control zone, but who gives a shit? That's fine. And then down to the 1-hour time frame, buoyant, so no divergence yet, and that 200 period moving average looks angry. Oh no. And then looking at this, it's like, oh no, maybe on the 1-hour time frame you don't have bullish inflection. AMC is losing that idea of a bullish. Maybe TA doesn't work. Oh shit, I'm going to be out of a job in a minute here. Look. That's bullishly divergent. This is your trade. Ha, it's just taking people out. There's your stop punt. Boom. Get that now. Look, that's it. Don't. It's not financial advice. Don't. But that's it. Boom. Right. And then TA doesn't work. I just proved it. You know. So that would be silly. But boom. Buy. That's it. Right. And then this is bullishly divergent and whatnot. Right. And now you're going to break out of that trend. You probably take it to a 236 on that fib, which will match this downward sloping resistance here. Not that we're talking about this or doing this. Right. We're actually looking at GME right now. You see how that's what we're doing right now. And this would be the 236, that previous oscillation. We're going there now. 45, what's that at the minute? 34. Okay, and then where's the golden pocket? Bottom side of this previous high in the formation. That's the place to go to now. 200 period moving down, sloping resistance. This is time to do it. Go for it. It'd be dead funny. Anyway, over here, you know, do you want to do the same thing? Well, hourly looks like this too. It really is a really big, angry 200 period moving average there. I mean, I can't ignore that. 1.13 extension, that's down to $35, but like this is not looking like it wants to drop down further. You know, sure, there's no bullish divergence here, but there'll be more interesting pictures on the lower time frames. We'll see what's going on right now, and what is the evolution of a potential cross that we're seeing evolve on the 1-hour time frame. It's real there, and it's a cross on the ADX on GME. So on the hourly, it's difficult to be bullish at this point. 30-minute time frame, there's a flash at 33.6. It's difficult to be bullish about anything with this happening. I mean, I want that to bounce up, but this would be where it would break if it was breaking down, and this is telling me that it's going to break down at some point. And the more I open this up, this is starting to feel bad, but like still, it was still what it was. And it's bullish divergence there, loads, so we should do something. Anyway, this is 30-minute time frame GME, and you don't quite have that picture of bullish divergence at that stage of the trend. You don't have a desperate amount of bearish divergence. You don't have any, so I'm not worried about that. Then anyway, we've got to drop down 15-minute time frame. There's a flash at 33.71, right? Well, that's like, hey, yo, I was just about to propose, and it's like, I've met somebody else, Greg. And you're like, what? Who's Greg? And you're like, oh no, he's Greg. And you're like, what's going on? Anyway, no jokes. Right, so, sorry, Greg, or not, sorry, I don't know how that works. Oops, come back. Right, so, This one, yes. So, I mean, if that was like a channel, you know, which one did we go to? We went to GME. Okay, that's handy. So if it did break this 200 period moving average, you can see that the 886 comes in here. That's at around 37.75. 1.13 is at 35.28. Downward sloping diagonal could catch it at any stage, depending on at what point along the x-axis it did break down. It is more likely to do it at a stage which matches up with these, isn't it? You know, which gives you some help when you're doing the TA with regards to time, which is like, you know, why would you be doing it? You know, so the question is there, and those answers that will also inform the rest of the trading, which is interesting. Anyway, so that's that. Just go up anyway. We want to get down to little time frames to see if it's going up. Now AMC's disappeared when it probably is going to make a move. That's when I wanted to see it trace. But was this? Is this the bullish divergence you're looking for? Yes, sir. 1, 2, another touch of it now. Yeah, buckle me shoe. 886 at that stage gives you a test of 37 along the way. And on the hourly time frame, you know, that'd be your 886. If you did get that and have like on the hourly wick back above this formation, that'd be incredibly good sheet. Anyway, that's that. 5 minutes, holding the bottom side of the there. That's interesting, right? You get back up towards the center line. That's kind of bullish. You'd also look at that, but top side of this formation, 200 period moving average still maintaining positive orientation at the minute, and slope and price action there on the 1 minute has 39.80, where it's just most recently come from. Also got resistance, though this looks a little bit like not like a bear flag, nor like a breakdown here, having held back above those levels. RSI putting in what is looking like class B bullish divergence here. It's only taking you back to the support in the tiny time frames, but that's where it would take you before pushing back above set line. So that's it, you know, get both those times goes up again. Why is there only one now? It was on 2. Anywho, AMC, looked like it was alright so far in at 21.93, currently 22.12. 200 period moving average, first test a long way, downward sloping resistance. Also meeting that there. So what did we get to? That was on what time frame? 1 minute. And GME, 1 minute. Pull these together, see what they've been doing there. 39.75. Okay, right, so that was that. And then the guitar outside, AMRS. AMRS. Yeah, Amyris, right, sorry, I've said that 1,000 times, so you know what this ticker is, don't you? They engage in the provision of bioscience solutions. Bioscience solutions, right, so 1 minute time frame says it's coming down to 2.05. RSI says on the 1 minute that would set up, match up with your picture of your momentum. Yes, it suggests. Suggests a retrace is possible. Obviously, you've got 200 period moving average on the way, but starting on a 1 minute time frame is no place to start, is it? Though, sure, that's where most relationships start as it happens. Onto the daily, you've got a flash at 1.95. That's a huge chunk off price action. You're up 17% on the day, so lots of people get excited. You can see there's a horizontal level of resistance you've just met for the first time in a while, and having left, I suppose you'd be looking at this and saying it's horizontals and that's the horizontal level, and anything below it wasn't all that significant. And you drop this on and you say, well, it's just ranging price action between these two levels as opposed to trending price action. And then 200 period moving average, that meets this previous high, 4.13. Yeah, it could go there ahead of coming back down, because this flash looks like it's going to get hit. You know, you're not trending away from it at this stage. Like, you're not even trending. You are moving away from it, and it's daily time frame, so it's significant, but that's like very extended, that movement. Into the bullish control zone, not oversold, overbought, nor is it problematic, although it could bounce around. I mean, that'd be typically an area we come back from. So, as it would be with any asset. And here you've got this downward sloping resistance. You broke that on the histogram. You've got your positive cross at the same time, and that might suggest you're aiming for a golden pocket or a 236 retracement. This would be your most ambitious of those 236s, and you've already made it. 2.81, you know. So I think that this is a short, or if you're already in it, it's a take profit zone. I think if you're aiming up here, you're greedy. if you entered them from the bottom side of this range, which you had loads of bullish divergence, you had plenty of opportunity to do it, and it was a very clear and present opportunity to everybody who tracks this thing, so it won't have been, a surprise to them. Sure, it broke down here, but it did that from a high, right? It did that from a high. So when it was putting in continuation divergence at that high, that's when this broke down. That's not happening at these lows. And then it come back up at this stage. You look left and you say, oh, it did break down from those levels before, having put in bullish divergence, pushed up to not breaking out of that ranging price action. Here's the top side, ranging price action, not trending between these two levels, right? This would be the first breakdown area. See that? Getting back to these levels afterwards. And then never managing to do anything significant beyond it, holding the previous levels of support. This is a gap when it comes to this level, right? Of course, it's going to open down at those levels and see if there's any interest here. Turns out there wasn't. Anyway, so this thing then, your continuation divergence from this turning overtook the reversal divergence, which was hoping it's going to move back up again, which was a bit unlikely at that stage. And then you've got a similar opportunity here, comes back down, puts in bullish divergence throughout this part of the trend. You're getting a number of lower touches on price action and much higher on the RSI. And then these are all talking about similarities that are rhyming with current price action in advance of the breakdown and after, right? The previous breakdown, you push back and range to the top side of where you might anticipate resistance being every single time, same sort of areas. And this is not breaking that characteristic of the asset. And like I say, if there is a trend on this thing, it's down. Should it break back up again, and not go for this target, then you've got a clear area where that would start happening at this horizontal, which matches the 236 Fibonacci at 2.83, 20 cents on what you've got at the minute is 17% up on the day. It could easily push a bit more, right? That would be happening in a liquidation event to a lot of different people. If you're looking at this from other areas where you might, say, well, I want more information, 886 retracement here, that would be looking at a target of 365. That's probably where it would go to if it broke above 318, which it would do if it was pushing above a 236 at 283. So those are those targets. Your 200 period moving average being the most ambitious, but then you'd be very greedy. In saying that, there is a potential harmonic on the go here too. Depends where you're taking it from. And overall, it doesn't present you with fantastic opportunity you'd prefer to be getting. Anyway, so that would be a different story. So on the daily time frame, it looks like, sure, right, the opportunity was down here. The risk profile changes as soon as it reaches the point which it's already met, and that's also represented here if it touching the bottom of the bullish control zone. So it's not yet bullish. Drop down to the 4-hour time frame, and there you've got a 200 period moving average. Still not trending well. I'm aware of the flash now, and I see it at that previous horizontal level of resistance at the breakdown point at the 382 from this Fibonacci. You have a flash, and that at $4.15 or thereabouts. And like I say, it's a fantastic indicator, but you want to be trending in that direction for the most reliable trading opportunities, or you want to be entering that move when it's at the most advantageous price in advance of trending in that direction. So if you were looking for this flash fill, then you would hope to already be in this thing, entering because of the bullish divergence, anticipating it moving back to these levels, which would be breaking a number of characteristics and affecting trend, especially on this time frame where you can see the proxy for that is 200 period moving average, where price action's already got up towards 269. It looks weird. Then it could easily be that you come away from these levels and you try and test something lower, even if you do break up, right? And what would that mean? It would mean that this was your low. This is your first place where you find resistance, and you're asking for a 236 and at $2.50. That's also in around this level of 50% retracement that you would have held if you gone at the golden pocket and come back. That'd be very bullish. It would also match up with breaking and then holding this downward sloping trend line here. Pardon moi, Mademoiselle Coco Chanel in there, holding that 50%, right? Well, it wouldn't actually, you'd be extending that and going back to golden pocket. So it could well be that if you break below that golden pocket and back within this formation, you'd be pushing back below 195 for areas, right? That still suggests that 195 is the entry. Come back down, you break back into these sort of zones. I mean, you could even draw it like this sort of thing, but it isn't. It's whatever's over here. And this is, you could draw it as a channel in there if you wanted. Anyway, if I retested this breakout zone, a golden pocket, that would look like the most chocolate on your biscuit. There's plenty of things to trade at all different times. So if you're already in it, your stop's in profit, and this is your potential re-entry zone on around that golden pocket, and then you're also probably aware of, if you are long, that there's a gap down here at 192. So like, this is it. You wait for price action to make back beyond here. You probably have your stop, if you're already in this, at 250 right now, because that's 236. You break below that, you're going at least to the 382 at 232. You have been below there down 215, so you're probably already stopped out in profit and are looking for a re-entry. If not, and it's not financial advice, if not, you've still got the similar concept in that things break below a 50% at 2.18, which is like touch below but not done completely. And who knows the accuracy of this, right? I could tighten up and probably find that that was actually the area. Golden pocket retracement may be that low as well, where you've come back to so far on a previous oscillation, right? That may well be why it matches up all around these levels. And $2, you'd be looking to that, expecting it to go there, right? So if your entry's below there, that would be, you know, in profit stop. There's a gap where price action likely comes back to fill, and like that would be, you know, not all that different, constitute all that different from a retest of this formation, even though it looks like it would be happening if it happened right now within what was previously resistance, and you'd be breaking back down into a formation you'd hope to escape from. But if that just takes a wee bit longer, then it's on the other side of that trend, and you match it here. And this would be the place to be first getting off that train if you were hoping to get back on again at these levels with, you know, as soon as you think, well, it didn't say they were stopping at the next station, but if they do, I suspect it's somewhere up here, right? Well, then you're that kind of traveler on trains, which trains typically don't work that way. But, you know, it might be where you are, that's how trains work. Anyway, in around here, this is gap, and you know what trains are like with gaps, don't you? What? Anywho, that's what I think with AMRS. Down to these time frames, what do we actually see on these little tinny bitsy time frames? Well, you're getting class B bearish divergence there. This is the perfect time to turn around. You're at a golden pocket retracement. This is like right into golden pockets and also meeting 236s. This is just like, you know, you definitely don't want to be buying it here, right? If it does break up, great, but you wanted to have been buying it there, so you would manage it with a stop loss and profit at any of those zones. And then if it does break, great, you know, you didn't lose anything, like, and you can let your winners run and protect your capital and protect your profit and compound your wins, and you can get another opportunity to enter if this does come back to there anyway. So right, that's the best way to do it, isn't it? Would be, and you'd have to have a really good argument to convince me otherwise. So that's what I think, guitar, and that was a massive donation, $20. Well, I hope that was helpful. That $20, I want to definitely be doing a good job. Let me look down at the oscillator some more. Didn't even touch the center line of that golden pocket retracement, which also constitutes retest of this formation, so you don't even need to get there. You know, you don't really. You could put in a pull flag, hold that 236 and just go on up. You really could. It's just there's a flash down there and a gap. So how far are you going to go without coming back? And here you're already at the top side of the range. Well, I can't change that, even if the oscillator looks good, right? It just doesn't change it's just the rules, you know, that implies for trading. You got your cross there, positive move on the histogram, but that's not seen to be continuing here. And you've got class B on RSI, so that's a warning sign. Well, you did hold that test of 40 on the DI positive, and the DX is still going up. This would be where you'd expect it to turn around, right? I mean, like, it hasn't, and it's orientated to the upside, and that's positive. So I'm definitely not, you know, oh, there's up another chunk, 18, 12. Really wants to go for it. So what did we say? Where is that? 2.81 potentially. Where's this one? 2.76. Well, still got a bit to go to get back to those levels. And that would be exceeding the high for today, which is one more cent than it's at the minute. So that's what I'm thinking, AMRS. Potential opportunity more here. You've already had a retest though, and you're back above a 200 period moving average on the hourly. 4 hour, your 200 period moving average is the resistance. Though you have a flash back up at $4, that's a significant percentage move from where you are at the minute. And that was a really good question. Thanks so much, Guitar Outside. And it was great to take a look at that. And it added a lot of value to the show because it's an interesting ticker. A lot of different interesting things going on it, really. Did we get down to the 15 minutes? I suppose that would be a place to see it do something. 5 minutes, golden pocket, 200 period moving average pushing to that previous high. Interesting. AMC 2206 didn't break out that formation yet then. We'll get down to that. Where was it? It was 1 minute. It was 1 minute. That top side of it though. Rough. Rough. Right, that previous high, what was it? It's up and it's towards that level anyway. But it's not done anything all that desperately interesting. AMC, GME, similar, caught these lows, and then you push back up, but you're not gaining yet, not done anything desperately interesting. Well, there's a suggestion of a trend line here, so if you just exceed this with doing nothing by going sideways, in advance of breaking this formation, then moving beyond that, bounce, or else just go straight through it, aim for the 200 prior high in the formation here. Don't expect this to drop all that much with a great degree of velocity compared to price action's potential for moving up here at velocity. Well, this being an average, and how ridiculous that would suggest your maths is. Anyway, so there's your $40 level that you're looking to break. Go ahead and do it. It was 39.80, but you know, we talked about it earlier, so there's a different number. Keep you interested, keep you guessing. So what's the chat box saying? How's Rocky Show going? AMRS YOLO calls closed at break even. YOLO calls closed at break even. Nice works. Trace bottom massively good job. Thank you. You're welcome. Awesome. Good to hear it. There's Lisa. Fantastic. Someone has the music in them today. Banana Free legend. What do you get when you cross an octopus with an elephant? Your funding cut and a visit from the ethics committee. Red box is a big gap on it. It does. Here's your red box. Quick glance. Flash back up at 354. Bottom side of that gap 278. That's 1 minute time frame. 15 minutes. So we called this right. Called this so good. You know. Oh, I want some chicken soup in a red box thing that I can watch with a movie, something, whatever, majiggermer. And you got your harmonic there. Nasty. Anyway, it's still not completely finished, and this is a bear flag, and it looks like it wants to break down even more. Sorry to tell you, folks. So 1618 has not yet been achieved. See, 1.71. Well, you know, that's fucked. And then here's, you know, so that was nice. Sorry. Here's another gap. It's roadblocks, and there's a 200 period moving average at 47, currently 45.22. I'm paying a lot of attention to it. This doesn't look like a bear flag. It's not yet anything like a tweezer bottom though. I'm sad. Moonman, remember for 9 months, legend. And legend earlier there with a message saying this is anniversary. Happy anniversary, sir. Thank you so much, Jimmy. So many of your 5 and 5s are flashing like imminent runs. 6. 6, a bump, a damp, gap. 15-minute time frame. Interesting. 6. TLRY. Why are these not showing up with my 5 and 5 drawings? Is that a little bit frustrating? TLRY up 6.2%. Okay, great. So that's not from. That's nothing. I mean, where did we call this from? Wacha, I don't know. Anyway, that looks like it could keep going. Here's this previous flash. Where's the low in this move? From your lows, it's up 7.19%. Hard to imagine I didn't catch the lows. I probably did. So, TLRY, and then PENN. Oh, you know, these were good days. It's not like somebody's coming to me and suggesting most of these, right? They don't come from the tickers because you guys don't leave enough requests in the tickers because it's like, well, yeah, come up with better ideas. I mean, you do often, but the ideas aren't very good. You know, I look at the charts and I'm like, well, it's not going to go anywhere. And if it does, it's crap. And so I'm not looking at that. And so I need more of your suggestions, more and more and more. So I just go and get my own and that. And I've got a gift. You know, I have a gift. So, like, I get them all the time. But, like, you know, come on, right? You guys need to do it, right? You need to do it too. Get the gift. 34.76 and then gap 34, spot 31. Well, that's not all that exciting. Not all that exciting. Lower term, 5 minutes. 5 minutes. So it's 5 minutes. Says he, says you. That was on the 9th. Now it's the 10th. Isn't any GG crap? I don't know, mate. And then Fury, FURY, Bajom, Fury Gold Mines, 3.98%. Oh my god, Trace Button, you're a genius. Who calls these things Trace Butter? Who calls these things Trace Butter? Calls them. You didn't hear me, I said it already. 11.55s, I'll leave more suggestions. Good on you, Sir Luke. Legend. Hooked on the 5s. You need to get yourselves hooked on the 5s. It's really good for you in like all sorts of different crazy ways. room earlier today. Who you saw that? Did you? Did you see that? It was nearly there, flashed up, didn't it? So people will be worried about that. Perfectly right to be worried about it too. But coming back and then giving you an opportunity, I like the sound of that. I do very much so. You can manage this with your, I mean, this is long-term trade, you know, making it easy for folks, but you could again make it into 8 different opportunities with this entry, this stop loss, this entry, this stop loss. In advance of that, the Fibonacci breakdowns, all these different entries. You could make this an easy trade because it's probably going to do that. You know, did you see MTTR? It's amazing. So there's that. And then it's brilliant. It's incredible. The work here is fantastic. It's already 2.83%. You know, most fund managers lose money. It's ridiculous. If you're selective about things, how are you supposed to beat the market? 90% of people won't. It's just the maths. TradeSpotting does it all the fucking time. It's ridiculous. It is. Somebody should add that shit up. And then don't, because I'll go to jail. But you should, though, eh? Add it up, someone. Hooked on 5 and 5s. What else were we doing there? VRM, KPLT. That was only a few minutes ago. KPLT. What's it been doing? Up 1.38%. There, isn't that? I mean, Jesus fucking Mary, Joseph, and a wee donkey, right? What's up? It's incredible. Like, this is some science. You look at this. Neil, what's Neil doing? These are all day, mind you. Bear in mind, this is all happening in the day. Whoa, this is a 1 hour time frame pushing up here. Here's your flash down at 9.84, 1.71%. My goodness. I just pick amazing stuff, don't I? What's that all about? We need to develop our gift. Just bring it out forthwith. Needing to find some interesting ones. Just bringing them forward gift seals. TradeSpotting has the power to do what Adam Aaron cannot to get me to invest in a gold mine. Well, I mean, I'm currently engaged running this YouTube channel, and that will take priority. But at the same time, I'm there available if, you know, anyone in S&P 500 needs me to improve the company. Message automatically held for review. Oh, aye. Hidden by Cobalt Mystic, but she's brilliant. What does it say? Freaking incredible. I swore, you big nasty swear man. Cobalt Mystic, the legend. Great to see you around, Cobalt Mystic, you legend too. Wow, eh? This is how we get around here, you know? It's like Old Town, you know, you've got your quadrant, nobody's allowed to do anything bad and whatnot, and at the end of the day, we're amazing, love each other, and it's fantastic. I need, do you know what I was talking about there? I don't. I need more Bed Bath and Bullish in my life. Bed Bath, what did we do that? That was that. We got through a lot of interesting things there. Bed Bath and Beyond. Right, I could have made a big deal about this, you know, because Bed Bath & Beyond's like taking all the interest at the minute. More people engaged with it than GameStop and everything else, right? And like, I should have been talking about it like every day, like, hey, yo, it's going down. This is really exciting. This is really exciting, and then it's going up. This is really exciting. And instead, I did it like, you know, 3 out of 7 days, and so, you know, people just don't think, right? Anywho, or they traded it that terribly the other ways. You know, the trade was like risk profile looking for it to come back down since it pushed to 9, but then there was also the potential it was going to 14 and got up to what, 13 and change, which is an awful lot because we were talking about the move from down here at 4. So these retracements now, very possible, highly likely in fact, going out at 4 hour time frame is still I'm talking about 4 spot 94, 886 retracement, you know, rejection from the 200 period moving average. If this isn't a bull flag, and it could potentially be because come back to fill the gap and whatnot, and this would be the area to break back above 236 golden pocket prior highs and then go on, right? Golden pocket here comes in at around 1468, and that's why we're talking about those levels. You get back above that. Very, very surprising, right? But like that'd be still a possible target, but I don't have it anymore. And so then you're looking at it come back to these, and it's just truth is, well, you've been looking to short it, right? Not short it, but you've been looking for the risk profile to come back down and present a different opportunity at these levels. Potentially you're shorting it. I don't know. I'm not. Then that would be what you're talking about. I mean, a lot of fucking people are. That's why it went up so much. So bear that in mind if you're ever letting that shorting things, right? You don't just pick short things to short just because you're an idiot. You would think about it first and bear in mind the potential bad stuff that could happen. You know, you'd be surprised people who don't do that. There's this one guy, right? And you might not have heard of him. He's like known as being the world's worst ever trader. He's called Gabe Plotkin. He's alive during your lifetime, in fact. And later, you know, in generations to come, people will make YouTube videos about the worst trader ever born, and they'll be talking about people like Gabe Plotkin will feature on that list. It's true story, right? So, true story, right? It is, and you know, so but there'll also be other like stories about it, like people will talk about it, and their YouTube video will be more interesting because they'll also talk about like associates of him, whether that be like directly, indirectly, implicitly, or explicitly. People like Vlad Tennant, and how his direct actions have led to people like, terrible consequences, life-ending consequences. It's what Vlad is, he's literally is terrible human being, right? So, and he charged on. That was all before the stuff he did that got him attention. These stories in the future are going to be dead interesting, right? There will be. There's 200-period moving average. This is currently a rejection, but it also looks like it could potentially be a bull flag, and then 14 be the first target you should be looking to because of the nature of this, the cat-o nature of this bull flag. I'd expect something similar of the targets to the top side, and each time you get up there, there's a potential to crash against the rocks, right? So anyway, that's what I'm saying. What are we looking at here? This BBBY. Why did that happen? Somebody must have asked me. What we've covered it comprehensively recently, and if people want to know about anything, you really can just come on, because of things like Lisa. You can just come on and we look down at the chapters on the video and be like, did he cover that? I wonder in that if it isn't mentioned in the title, because I'm not going to go around updating the title of it. Although that's a good idea, Lisa, if we could manage that. Although I did also send you one of those invites. Did you get it yet? I don't know if it went through because I didn't hit the confirm button that night. I did it the next day, so I don't know if I even sent it. It might have timed out or something. But if it did, and we could update titles to certain videos that were like just plain, had some tickers and titles, and we just add up the rest of them, and then the first line of the description, that would help. We could do that, couldn't we? I don't know. Anyway, trade spawn. MULN is being a bit indecisive. Yeah, it is, isn't it? It's one of those ones because of the nature of the formation it's in. There's potential trade, there's top side of the formation, you're not yet at the apex, you take this trade, right? This is the way to take this MULN opportunity. Yeah, the breakout does take you back towards these 236s and like a 50% retracement of a different Fibonacci. If you go back above a 200 period moving average, you'll be breaking up the prior high of the previous formation. That definitely looks like it's possible, right? Could definitely happen. But a breakout area and a retest from this might not, of these zones might not necessarily work out. Could be a displacement of a trend that then continues. Then you'd be looking at a channel instead of a wedge, and that's highly probable, very likely. But at the same time, that doesn't mean it's more common or more likely than this idea, right? That you get to the top side of this downward sloping formation, which is still relevant, fill this flash, come into this breakdown area, meet this resistance level, and you still get an opportunity. That's a 4.64 if you try to take it to these highs. Let's say instead now you're only going back to that flash. You want to manage the trade that's potentially already on. You've got your prior low in this part of the formation. You could drop it in around there, and you've nearly got a 5-to-1 on that trade, which is like more than anybody needs, because you've got a low here if you're already in, and then you could put it into those ones, or like this wick low or the body of this close in this 4-hour time frame probably be interesting on lowers, and then you'd have it in at around 0.78, 7954. Now if it doesn't break above here, you'll come back and you don't want to be in the trade. If it does break down, because there's a gap below, top side of that's at 6.5, 0.65, bottom side 0.62, and there's a big percentage just in that gap alone, never mind from here to there. So that's what you're thinking, and this is bullishly divergent should it push lower, but it isn't currently pushing lower, nor is it back above a 236. So you don't have much of that, and there is a trend within this formation of hitting this line here, so it could definitely do that. And this is not a secure double bottom between these two, and this is a disappointing oscillation, not even reaching the flash at this stage, which was put in before it. But it speaks to the tricky nature and the indecisiveness, and it looks like it's indecisive, but that's just because no real questions are being asked of it, and those would happen at these levels, 1.13 down back below 0.75. And the question you'd be asking it down past there is like, are you going to fill that gap, you fucking idiot? And then if it goes back above there, you'd be saying, well, you're going to hurry up and test the 200 period moving average. And at that point, you would find out if it was decisive or not. Got it. We'll click through exam this afternoon. Yes. Awesome. Thanks, Lisa. It's freaking awesome. Awesomes. So, I mean, I would go for it and mention people by names, but then people will feel left out. But there's Lisa, Bulldog, Red, thank goodness, you're amazing. Anchor, Team True, you guys are amazing. Deb Money up recently with the clips thing getting there. Sarah Rera with getting all of the other ones on TikTok and whatnot. And then I'll setting up the stuff on the podcast and that. Like, it's a freaking trading army and helping me with stuff. Really appreciate it. If anyone else is doing that sort of thing, and if I didn't mention you right there, then I feel like a bloody idiot. There is a lot of them, actually, that I didn't mention that are now jumping into my head. Right? Now, I said I shouldn't have freaking started mentioning names. Lowell, Mofo, Flizzle was, everybody else. Jeez, look, she's trace button. I'm going to do it now. And then Stacey's goes, and then there's everybody else, Kieran, and then I'm like, oh my God, I haven't even mentioned Rocky. And anyway, right, I could do other things and talk about people's names, and that's all great. Thanks, everybody. It's really appreciated. And then on Discord, like, there's the other thing, you know, I just interacting with you all. I appreciate you all so much. You're all bloody damn brilliant anyway. You know, especially the people who tune in here all the time. They're bloody damn brilliant, so you are. Bloody damn brilliant. Bloody damn brilliant. You know, and then the audience, that side of things, you know, there's a flash on this SPY there. Down at 396.2 in a 4-hour time frame. I don't know why I didn't mention that when I was looking at SPY earlier. There's this huge gap at resistance already. I mean, you're aiming for this thing to break. What? If you're asking for it to break, you know, you're asking a lot of it. If you know. I talk about you in other realms. Oh, yes. Oh, wow. That's nice. Thanks. Well, when any two of you are together talking about me, I'm there with you. It's amazing the way it works like that. Hi, Elisa. Hi, Al Baker. Hi, Jess. All you guys. KT, a legend too. GLW for the porridge eater trace button if you're not tunkered it already. Well, for you, gentlemen, of course I'll look at it. There we have a little look at it. Oh, a gap. Nice. So you come back to this high so far, 36.57, up 3.5%. That's not bad. Still got this gap now, right? Which is not like, you'll find I need to be not desperately inspired by gaps. But not everyone believes me when I tell them. So that's really, really aggressive and offensive. Why are they like that? What's the difference between some and somewhat? But not everyone believes me when I tell them. But sorry, Tweeter. Sorry, Tweeter. Facebook, yeah, I love your videos. I watch them all the time. I've got a quick question. I must get 5 of them every video. It's like no, you don't love me. You don't love me. Anyway, right, so I'm distracted. What were we doing? SPY, 4 hour. We were at 4 hour back weekly. Why back a weekly? This has made it to those. What? No, it's not SPY, it's GLW. Yes, that's right, GLW. Okay. It's right there on the screen, trace button. Yes. So it allows us to properly, well, I'm here and now. That's not properly. Right, so when was this? Is that all you got, eh? That's 2080. Is that all you got? Is that all you got? It's like, well, I already wrecked you. I already absolutely wrecked you. Boom. What was that as it happens? Just out of interest rate. 99%. Okay. So, right. Yeah, congratulations. You escaped from that. You escaped from that nightmare. And you came back then. 236 here. Yeah. That's already. Sonny Jim. You know, maybe that's enough of a leveling off and a reset after that divergence, which you were definitely experiencing quite a bit of compared to these previous highs of this new part of the trend, right? Which isn't a lot different. It's a continuation of this trend. Looking left, let's see what we're at. Well, we've got that breakdown from here. No, that's the recovery from the lows. We've got this breakdown though on a fib. This is like from this high. I'm just drawing over here because I'm like contrary and well, it's not. I mean, I say that, but other people would say I'm a delinquent, and really, I am trying to piss people off all the time. So here's your 236, and there's the golden pocket, and you could also say it could have came back there, but it didn't, did it? It came back to 236, and that so shut up. And anyway, yeah. So there's some relevance to this thing. I mean, not desperate amounts of it, but there's some. Back above the golden pocket, found it as support. Now you're looking back towards the 886, and you've kind of already got there, right? So I mean, there it is. Boom. Congratulations. Boom, there it is. There's this high, right, which is lovely. I like it. Do you like it? That's the previous high. So that'd be where you're aiming to should you break that last horizontal and then your 1.1 free extension, which should probably also get 250 at some point. It's just where do you want to be entering from, huh, punk? Well, you've got no bullish divergence on the macro scale here. Up, down, up, down, up, down. I mean, it's in an uptrend, right? So I'm not going to argue with the uptrend. And it's on an uptrend on loads of significant time frames, so I'm also not going to argue with that. And while it doesn't have any flashes at the minute, I am... Wait a minute, does it? No, that's my 382. Yo, that's my 382. Hansel and Gretel rocking around. The fat granny was going to eat them all, and they were just dropping Fibonacci's, like they were in a Fibonacci sequence and that. But they hadn't watched TraceBot enough, so they got lost on the way back, you know, and then they got eaten by a fat old lady, ate them. So, yes, that's the way it is, right? And that's why we have these storytellers, so people trade better. You know, stop trading bad, you stupid idiot. That's what that one means. So, here's 200 period moving average came for a test of that. It was bullishly divergent, like, there, yeah, those last ones. I mean, we could zoom in and see it. 5-day time frame. Why so stingy, TraceBot? And can I have some more? And it's like, well, you know, the bind I'm in, right? Because if I go from a 5-day down to 3-day, 2-day daily and whatnot, other people say I'm being parsimonious and slipping it out bit by bit. And then I'm like, well, double done, isn't it? Done, damned if I don't, Denny done, I done if I do too, and whatnot. I don't want. No, I'm fine, thanks. I was fine. It was just a momentary thing. Right, so, you know, yeah, I mean, you still got the divergent whatnot. This is like, it's just like, why not just try up here? Do you get continuation? You get, you know, divergence at the low side of this every time price action tries to push back down again. Reversal stuff in the lower time frame. I'm going to say lower, it's 5 days. Daily TraceBot, daily, just the same answers, daily time frame. Bullish divergence, lower lows in price action, higher low on RSI, right? And then go back up again. This is what you find in an uptrend. Howdy, I hope you're doing well on this fine day. Sir, I am. How you doing? I'm doing so good. Rocket got me this lovely t-shirt and that. We were discussing, you know, potential things. And it's nice stuff, nice stuff. I put it on today. Got it the other day, put it on today. So, that's lovely, you know. So if that felt great, woke up this morning, felt amazing, you know. Always feeling fantastic. Top of the world, top of the world. Thanks, TraceBot and the Porridge or whatever it means, understanding the TA-ness. That's nice to see. So it's an uptrend, right? So as a trader, we look for continuation. There's currently that we're seeing potential divergence on these lows on the RSI. It's a momentum indicator. You know, momentum is useful if you're driving a car. You need to consider that before we go around any sort of corner and whatnot. And here's 200 period moving average, the proxy for trend, daily time frame. You come back towards that level, and you've not actually seen a rejection from it, and are potentially putting in a bull flag. You're also meeting downward sloping resistance levels. Well, not yet. You know, you've got some way to go, right? If this is the broadening wedge, which it is. Yeah, you know, so yeah, that's what you're looking to. 41.36 at the minute. That'd be great. 200 period moving average, you have to break above that. Bull flag there, right? Previous high prior formation, probably first stops in at around 37 and 30, 38, 20, something like that. Probably in around there. Right, that's an inflection point anyway from this previous gap, and that was the support level previously and resistance like more recently. So, you know, I mean, I might as well drop a line on. I can afford one, right? Because, you know, Scrooge TraceBot, please, it's Christmas time. Can we just have one more line, TraceBot? It's Christmas time. It's one line. It's just one. That's the way it is. We all want things. We all want things. So yeah, no, 200 period moving average. Yeah. So bull flag. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Yeah. Great. Yeah. What were we talking about? That's the daily 4 hour. That hold the center line RSI. Great. 200 period moving average. Great. It's bull flag. You can see the trend there. It's like written out for you. Reading out for you. Well, reading out. You even draw the oscillations if you wanted. You know, they're kind of obvious. Anywho, right. So volume, no problem. Holding RSI there, certainly, no problem. Continuation divergence on the MACD and histogram there, like, no problem. Thank you very much. And then this trend, like, sorry, the ADX doesn't know what's going on, but the DMI does, and it's there, and it's like, shut up, get out of the way. And everybody else is like, well, all right then. You know, and then it's going to go and break up. Oh, wait, there's a gap. Sugar. 4 hour, you did that. Yes, we started here, didn't we? 200 period moving average. This is a trend line. I'd probably come back then. Where's the resistance on this thing? In the meantime, it's there. That was a low. And what does this look like from RSI? Pachow, Fibonacci, golden pocket 886. You've had it there. You've had it, and the gap's low. There's your 236. It's not filling the gap, so you'd want to come back down and be a 1.13 extension for this Fibonacci. If it was to break down, that'll probably land right on that line. So it will. He was right. Right again. That feckin' TraceBot fecker. How does he feckin' do it? And then he's noticed down here that actually he's fucking feckin' fecked. There's a feckin' gap down here, feckers. Here you feckin' feckers, there's a feckin' gap. Whew. Jen told me about that. Shouted it into the ether. there, and I caught her there on the other side, upside, what's it called, inside out your pants land or something, right? You know where everyone wears their pants on top of their trousers? That obnoxious person's back that's got the really loud bike lock that locks it to the drain pipes. It's just like, everyone knows who you are, everyone knows you're obnoxious, but that's fine. I do things like that, but that's just not in my own house. I suppose that's my own medicine. Anyway, you know, I don't really mind. You live and let live, right? So, or whatever you want to do, live and you piss off, and you should hit the like button, that's for sure. You know, if you've watched this much of the video, you must have got some sort of value, right? So you could be hitting the like button by now. And then, anywho, why wouldn't you have watched this much of the video? Like, everything's so amazing here. It's insane how amazing it is. Did we draw this Fibonacci? Did we? We should have. I don't know. Did we? There's your 236, and that's in at 35.42, right? Which is very close to 35.09. 37 it is, right? So that's even closer. And, you know, did I draw it accurately? Probably not, right? So probably it's even closer than that. And then, you know, if all those things are true, that's a load of confluence. And down here in the 4, it's also 200 period moving average, or more or less. And, you know, so that's fantastic. 1 hour, you know, will you go there right now? You could do, you know, it's like the idea of this downward trend, there's continuation divergence in this little time frame, so it'll take us foot off the gas pedal a little bit, you know, and there's no desperate amounts of bullish divergence on these lows, that's for sure, on the 1 hour. So it could definitely come back down, test these things. 1.1618 and 200 period moving average, they're around these sort of like 34, and then there's a wick low, managed stop loss, whatnot. And there's a golden pocket. If you're taking more chocolate on your biscuit and entering lower, you've got that managed risk, because folks, but you're not. This isn't like that. It's just, we're just talking about TA education con. 200 period moving average, 236 retracement, $35 and change looks like the gap fill and highest opportunity, while still catching trades. You'd have to, like, you know, be conscious of the fact that they don't necessarily know where you've put your entry in that, and price action quite often it isn't polite and congenial and is not here coming to your party. You know, I know this is great, hand out flyers and everything, but it's not coming sometimes. So, you know, anyway, so yeah, I don't really tend to go where prices are, though. They like to come to where I am, right? That's the way prices work. And if that isn't what those prices are tending to do, then I'm not really interested in those prices, because it's a lot of hard work, you know. And that tends to be like, well, it's not that I don't like hard work. It's just, why would I do that when there's loads of prices out there looking to find me, constantly looking to find me, and until, like, you know. So why would I do that? So, you know, if you know any of those prices, hit the share button, send this video them, you know. Right, so bullish control zone's still here. That's not, like, it's not, but it's close to 15-minute time frame. There's that gap back below 200 period moving average. Golden pockets in the midpoint, 886 here. You can see that would be a perfect filling of Jean gaps, even if he didn't draw it perfectly. So that's you tuned in. Thanks, traders. Remember, and never forget, if you don't manage your risk, you won't be able to play this game forever. And if you're not playing the game forever, you probably didn't get rich, you know. So, you know, because if you did get rich, you'd just be dipping your hand in every so often, wouldn't you? So no one's, you know, so awesome, wasn't it? Yeah, so be good to each other, trade safe, and watch all my videos over and over again. Hit the like button, comment below them, you know. I put this effort in every day, and, you know, there's definitely a big enough audience to make it sustainable, right? There is. And there's definitely a lot of folks out there that need TradeSpawn's help. So I'm going to keep going, and I appreciate everybody's help for helping me help other people. Awesome. Yeah, and on that note, help each other. See you later.